Day 11 of Eagles training camp, and my God, there's so much news here. Sit back, relax, because we're going to go through the whole joint practices with the Cleveland Browns. A lot of ex-Eagles were coming back, and not even just from players, but yeah, Jim Schwartz come back, Rodney McLeod come back to the NovaCare. You had Marquise Goodwin that barely played with us for a day in 2020, and obviously Andrew Berry, that was a big front office guy with Howie Roseman, is the new GM for the Browns. So a lot of familiar faces coming back to the NovaCare, and a lot of competition, and the Eagles had a fantastic day. Specific players, and where we got a lot more answers, and I can't wait till the season starts, because I don't know if I can get through another preseason game, and by the time we're done with this preseason game this week, we're going to want the season to start immediately, and there's a lot to go over here, so let's get into it.
Because I've seen enough horror movies to know any weirdo wearing a mask is never friendly.
Hope everyone's having a fantastic day today. So we have some news on the Philadelphia Eagles joint practices. This is where things start to spice up a little bit with the competition. Obviously, starting out with the injuries as of right now, you have Britton Covey with the hamstring, Patrick Johnson with the ankle, Quez Watkins is out with the hamstring. So probably going to miss a whole nother day on top of today. I don't think he'll be back tomorrow fully. He'll probably be limited, or he'll be out still with the hamstring. So this is a lot of big time, competition right now. Quez Watkins is going to miss some valuable time because the joint practices are very good, because you're facing another team in another jersey, and it changes the whole aspect of what you're doing in practice, because now you're really being more of a team competing against another team while you're competing yourself against your position, which I think is pretty cool. So a lot of these, wide receivers are going to get a lot of reps today, and a lot did happen. So Deon Cain is limited now, so he'll be back into the fold, but a lot of competition in front of him. He's already missed like 6 days of training camp with this ankle injury, so just kind of crazy. But the DB 1v1 wide receiver drill was absolutely amazing. You had Devonte Smith on a comeback route against Ward, with great separation. Devonte Smith is going to have an absolute crazy season this year. I think he'll have more yards than A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown will probably have more catches, and A.J. Brown had a competitive contested catch today, which was really good. Won the route, won the rep. Johnny King with a really good on a little slant pass. Johnny King is really fast, man. I mean, for his size, I know he's 6'4", 6'5", something like that. Johnny King is already with the third team offense right now, and when these one-on-ones, Johnny King got some great separation today. Alamati Zaccheaus beat his guy with great separation today. You have Joseph Nagata, great separation, good high point catch today. You had Greg Ward that struggled with 2 receptions that he couldn't get, and Devin Allen had a rep and struggled as well. So a lot of receivers are piling up right now, and I think a lot of guys are starting to show. I think Johnny King is having a pretty good training camp, not even being here a few days. Alamati Zaccheaus, which he'll definitely make the rosters, getting some great separation. We know what Devonte Smith and A.J. Brown could do, so there's no question about that. But really good look from the wide receivers today. Even Jalen Hurts had a fantastic day today, and to be honest with you, there was a few really good passes going into, the 11-on-11, 7-on-7s. You had Hurts to Devonte Smith on a pair of really deep passes today, and one right in front of the end zone, scrambled to his left, threw to his right, hit Devonte Smith perfectly. There would have been 2 more touchdowns for Devonte Smith today, but they were a little bit underthrown, so Hurts did struggle, and Hurts did have another pick, had another pick today, so not making a big deal about that, because the Browns defensive line is very good. Myles Garrett was giving Jordan Mailata some trouble today, and Myles Garrett actually had an injury to his foot, so he ended up leaving today. You had Land Dickerson had an injury, but he was fine. They kept him out the rest of practice. Josh Sills took his spot at left guard, and then you had Josh Sweat kind of came up on one knee, but he was fine. Kelsey, got off the field, had to go into the tent, but he was fine. So a lot of guys were fine. So they kept a lot of guys out if they were getting hurt pretty early in practice. So I thought Hurts did great, and then Hurts was sacked on one play and then made a couple good throws later on. Tyree Cleveland, another receiver that's doing so well, really continuing off of his great preseason game that he had. Tyree Cleveland, 30-yard catch on 11-on-11s, and was with the second team, and this was actually a pass by Mariota as well. So Tyree Cleveland got a little bit more reps with both quarterbacks, which was pretty good. Rashad Penny had a big gain on a counter play, and he was with the second team today. I know a lot of people have been up and down about Rashad Penny really after that first preseason game, but not, going crazy about it. Devonte Smith was funny because he actually beat Emerson on a huge pass. and then Emerson pretty much was like, what kind of route was that? And Greg Ward kind of yelled out and says, you just, the route that kind of beat your ass. So I thought that was a funny comment on the field as well. So that was pretty cool. Kenneth Gainwell was the number one running back in the offense today, but Swift had a 50-yard touchdown today, just being so crazy what he could do as a running back, what he could do as being lined up on the outside. And he was lined up on the outside today as well as a wide receiver. So you could do a lot of different things. If you want to take Quez out, if you want to take certain players out and really get those mismatches, I think Brian Johnson has all of his weapons. I mean, just what he can use here with DeAndre Swift just lining up as a receiver and just the mismatches he can have. So it's fantastic. Swift just having a stronger day. He only had 1 to 2 reps in the preseason game, and the Eagles took him out immediately and was like, okay, we had enough. We've seen enough of you. We want to keep you healthy for joint practices and then rest you until the rest of the season starts. So I thought that was pretty cool. Now going into the defensive side of the ball, Jalen Carter, holy crap, guys. I mean, he had 2 sacks and a forced fumble and 7-8 pressures. Okay, I mean, he was just knocking guys around. I mean, literally, he was being so disruptive, sacked, Watson in the backfield just did such a fantastic job. I mean, Fletcher Cox is saying this man is dangerous. I mean, he is just being, we only saw 2 reps in that Ravens preseason game and what he could do. I mean, this is nothing compared to what we're going to see. I want to see more video on Jalen Carter. We don't get enough of it. I wish people caught some video on him, unless there is, and I just missed it today. But Jalen Carter is, I am telling you right now, is going to be an immediate impact. He's going to start next to Jordan Davis this year. It's not going to be Fletcher Cox. Fletcher Cox will be in the second rotation, but he will be in that first rotate. He'll be as a starter next to. I don't know how. I honestly don't know how teams let the Eagles get this guy. I really don't know. But he was a monster. They actually worked him on first and second team. They actually line him up on the outside a couple times on a couple reps just to test him out on a few things. But as for just being disruptive today and just using his strength, he's got strength that makes it look so easy. He's got violent hands. I'm just a loss for words with Jalen Carter and what he's done so far, and it's just been absolutely amazing. Just a monstrous player, and I can't wait to see what he brings to this defense. It just, man, even if he's not getting sacks, this guy is going to make quarterbacks run for their lives. And against the run, he's been really, really good. As a first-round pick, should be good at both. He's been fantastic. Reid Blankenship, Jesus, man, he had a pick on Deshaun Watson today. He had a few really good coverages today. Reid Blankenship, from around the field of what we've been hearing from the beat writers so far, even until from OTAs to training camp, what he's done. I mean, they didn't play one snap with him in that preseason game, and Reid Blankenship has really just turned out. They haven't switched him. He has stayed consistent and consecutive as a starting safety for the Philadelphia Eagles, and I'm telling you, and this was a pick off of Zach Cunningham that actually deflected the pass with Reid, being in position to go grab it. But even on some coverage plays today, Reid Blankenship has been absolutely fantastic, and what else can we ask for? I think we found a dime here. I think we found a gem in this big role of safeties. We're just looking for that next spot, to be honest with you. But to really talk about the starting safety, starting linebackers, we had Reid Blankenship, Terrell Edmonds at safety, Nakobe Dean and Christian Ellis at linebacker. Kevon Wallace was subbing in for Edmonds with ones. No major movement until later on when it was tweeted out from Zach Berman that Sidney Brown now paired with Reid Blankenship with the number 1 safeties, okay? Brown could be making his move up the depth chart. Now, this was making me a little nervous because Sidney Brown was with the, didn't play until the fourth quarter. So usually when players do come in at the fourth quarter, maybe Sidney Brown wasn't making it up the depth chart as fast as I thought he was, but maybe I was wrong. Maybe there was more to it. Maybe, which I definitely found out from the Sean Desai press conference, which which we'll talk about at the end of this video. So Sidney Brown is playing lights out, flying around the field, making tackles. He had 9 solo tackles in that Ravens preseason game, so he played really well, and pretty happy about it. And really coming down to the rest of the plays that happened for the rest of the day, I mean, the Eagles' defensive line was feasting on Deshaun Watson all day, literally. You had Josh Sweat with a sack on Deshaun Watson. That was against Jarek Willis Jr. Now, Jordan Davis was very good, too. Jordan Davis did discuss in this press conference that he really second-guessed himself last year after that injury. So he had a mental flaw last year, which we kind of found out today. But he feels like a totally different player. Now, Josh Sweat and Jordan Davis were going after Deshaun Watson today, but Josh Sweat was the first one there, which was pretty good. So, Derek Barnett had a sack as well when Deshaun Watson rolled out. So Derek Barnett being productive, and that's all we can really ask for of him. Sean Desai had his press conference at the end of the day and talked about the playbook. That it's 95 to 98% installed already. So pretty much the playbook's pretty much done, pretty much almost mastered, and talked about Jalen Carter, talked about Nolan Smith and how much they have really gotten this far in training camp and how much better they have gotten as players, and really just working out the fundamentals to this whole defense. So players are just learning everything that Sean Desai wants them to do. I think he's done a fantastic job with the competition of training camp. And giving everybody a fair shot. I'm glad he's not playing favorites and he's giving everyone a fair shot. You have to give everybody a fair shot because you never know what you have on this roster. There might be someone that doesn't play great in training camp but really does well in preseason games. So you really have to kind of weigh out your options here and can't take so much out of joint practices, and sometimes you can't take too much out of facing your own team. You have to wait till preseason. So some guys just play better on different stages, different lengths of the stage. Sometimes it just depends, like I said, on the player, which was pretty cool. So, talked about the top players and with Jalen Carter and Nolan Smith and that they're doing a good job and they're just going to get better by the day. You know what I mean? So feel like this team is starting to mold together pretty nicely. Not saying we have a answer at safety yet. Not saying we have to have an answer at linebacker yet. Christian Ellis seems to, be the favorite right now, next to Nakobe Dean because he started with the ones today. I know they're flip-flopping linebackers around like crazy, and it looks like Sidney Brown might be, maybe, I just got confused on how he was put into the fourth quarter. I understand they're giving everybody reps, but maybe I was wrong. It's really the evaluation. They want to just take a look at guys more, and Sean Desai did talk about, giving guys more time in these preseason games and trying to switch out guys for a few plays as much as he possibly can. And I guess Sidney Brown was just one of the last guys to, get into the game in the fourth quarter. So I guess I can't take it too seriously, but guys, a lot of receivers are competing right now. A lot of them are looking really good from second to third team, whether it's Joseph Nagata or Johnny King or who else? Alamani Zaccheaus. All getting separation. We know what A.J. Brown, Devonte Smith could do. Jalen Carter is just as advertised and as better. He thinks he's going to have a lot of sacks this year, okay? Because it's more of a passing league. Jalen Carter did say, since it's more of a passing league, I'm probably going to get a lot more sacks this year. He feels very confident in himself. And I'm telling you right now, between 2 snaps in this Ravens game and getting almost 7 to 8 pressures, 2 sacks, and a forced fumble today, it's just nuts. It's just crazy. How much this defensive line is going to get better. And the depth is just insane right now. The D-line feasted. The offense did struggle. They had a couple penalties, a couple underthrows from Jalen Hurts. He had a pick today. Myles Garrett was getting the best of Jordan Mailata today. Myles Garrett's only been beaten by maybe one defensive lineman his whole career consistently. And Myles Garrett is the second one. And this is not even a football game right now. This is just joint practice. So, and I like the guy. It's good that you see guys struggling a little bit. There's nothing wrong with Jordan Mailata struggling a little bit. Okay, he's been pretty consistent in his career so far, and I expect a lot more. So that was Day 11 of Eagles training camp, joint practices. We will have more joint practice coverage tomorrow for the Philadelphia Eagles. And man, what a day, and so excited for more news and just more clips of what we could find. And you know, this team is starting to mold a little bit, and this final 53 is going to be really hard to really get together. You know, really combine, you know, what we have here. So it's going to be very interesting going forward. And yeah, I'm pretty pumped. I'm pretty excited for it. So you guys have a fantastic day. Make sure if you guys last as long as this video, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you like the video as well. Just help out the channel out a lot. And we'll have more updates for you soon. You guys stay safe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Chicks, what up, follow. Peace out, guys. Peace.